All right, welcome to Gridiron Banter Episode 4. I am your host, Gavin Laskowski. As always, joined by Dylan Ford and Michael Battisti. Right now, we're going to get into the Thursday Night Football matchup of Week 4. It was Giants versus Cowboys, big NFC East rivalry game. Cowboys win 20-15. Decent game, actually. Better than expected.
Mm-hmm. So, obviously, this was a NFC East matchup. Yeah, I wasn't really excited for this game after, especially what happened last year with it was Saturday or Sunday night. But the last game I remember the Giants and Cowboys playing, I know they played later in the year, but the 40-0 was abominable. So to see that the Giants were able to actually get something done this game, get 15 points on the board, isn't the worst.
At the same time, all of the points scored last night were field goals, and they weren't actually able to finish in the end zone, which was kind of rough to see, and you're not going to win games like that. I mean, okay, the Commanders did it 2 weeks ago, but Dallas didn't even play a great game. They just were able to manage the Giants and just hold them in place and run out the clock and win.
On a positive note for the Giants, though, Malik Neighbors looked really good. Of course, obviously ended negatively with Malik having to leave the game with a concussion.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say that the Giants did better than I think a lot of people were expecting. I think everyone expected the Cowboys to destroy the Giants. So the fact that the Giants were able to stay in, even if it was only from field goals, it's overall a good sign for the Giants. And moving forward, I think the Cowboys are in a really good spot to, in
a good spot for what?
kind of in a good spot to kind of bounce back from, because they've been kind of
that's
mediocre the last few games. They haven't been what's been lived up to the hype of the Cowboys. So moving forward, I think we're going to see them kind of bloom a little bit more as an offense. Obviously, Jake Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb both looked really good last night. The running game is still a little iffy. Obviously, Rico Dowdle caught that touchdown pass, but overall good performance from the Cowboys, solid performance from the Giants.
Yeah, I want to give credit to Daniel Jones. He's looked decent this year.
Yeah.
I think the big thing for him is he's not turning the ball over, and that's what's keeping the Giants in these games. Obviously, we're still 1-3, but all he has to do is get the ball to Neighbors, and it works. So
Gotta get some touchdowns, too, though,
Yeah.
in the mix.
it's unfortunate the week we actually don't score touchdowns, we have a kicker, and then the week we do score touchdowns, we don't have a kicker. So
What's his name? The number 2, not Hyatt.
Wandale.
Wandale actually looked
good
solid
last night.
He was a lot more in the slot, which I think is a good role for him. I think it was a lot of Daniel Jones would look for Malik, and if Malik was open, throw it
Hit
down
him
the
in the
middle
slot,
to
yeah.
Wandale. So overall, not the worst performance. Daniel Jones is looking better than he did in the first couple games of the season. So Giants are looking all right, not amazing, but not bad.
Mhm.
But obviously that Malik Neighbors injury, depending on the severity, could ruin or make their season.
yeah, I saw some minor complaints about the team. We're dropping a lot of passes in the game
Yeah.
yesterday. Wandale and Darius Slayton especially, and then our D line is just still not great. I know Thibodeau had a sack in the game, or I can pull up the stats here. Let's see.
I also wasn't happy with the rushing
Yeah,
attack.
Thibodeau was our only sack yesterday, and
Yeah.
Dallas had the worst run defense in the league coming in this
We didn't
game, and
do
we averaged like a
anything.
yard a carry.
Yeah.
So, I know the O-lines looked better, but I feel like we should have done a lot better than we did running wise. So I guess we'll have to see in the future.
The Giants just choose stupid times to run the ball. Because there's one play I remember last night. It was 2nd and 15, and they chose to hand it off to Singletary to get 2 yards. And that's okay, perfect. You just set yourself up for a 3rd and 11 when you could at least take a shot and maybe get 5 or 6 yards with Wandale, or hand it off for the chance to get 6. But
In all aspects, you want to go for the short downs. So
But not
maybe
that
getting
far
5
back, though.
yards. I feel like a 3rd and 10 is a lot more manageable than a 3rd and. If they miss that, it's 3rd and 15, and you're
Yeah.
kind of just screwed at that point. I didn't watch it, but I think it was solid overall. I'm not a Giants fan, so I don't know how you guys feel about
I
it.
didn't like it.
but-
I like like I haven't said, I like the way Daniel Jones is playing. He's not there. He's playing good enough, but he's not playing at the level I want him to be. I want to expect a little bit more from a 6-year veteran.
So something I brought up to you last night, Michael. If you had to go back to the draft and how these two players have performed, would you prefer Malik Neighbors or Jaden Daniels?
Definitely Jaden Daniels. I
Jaden
just think
Daniels?
that QBs can help switch the pace of a franchise in a matter of a season. Just look at C.J. Stroud during the 3-14. Were they?
Yeah.
They're bad. 3-14 Texans to a playoff winning team, and I feel like QBs are the most important. Well, they are the most important role on a team. Malik is nice though. I love Malik. He's my favorite player on the Giants right now. But I definitely would take Jaden Daniels if I had the chance.
Would you agree with that, Gavin?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I still have to wait.
It is tough. It's tough.
Because Neighbors just looked so good, and Jaden Daniels really only had like one really good game, I would say.
Mhm.
He's looked okay in the other two as a runner, not so much as a passer. But this game against the Bengals last week, they actually let him throw the ball downfield, so he looked good. If he continue playing like that, then obviously I could say I'd rather have Jaden Daniels over Neighbors, but I think it's still a little too early to say.
Yeah, you need more time. Well, and then Malik, on the other hand, has just tore it up every game and is the top receiver in the NFL right now.
I think at this point, though, we've kind of discussed what we needed to about this game. Are we
Yeah.
ready to move on to the week 3? What happened in those games?
Let's go for it.
So starting out, the first game, obviously we talked about last week of the Patriots and Jets. Jets won 24-3.
Oh, we're analyzing every game.
We're not analyzing. I'm just saying that this is what happened in the game.
Oh, we already talked about this one though.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that's the
Oh.
score. That's all I was saying. I wasn't going into
okay.
it.
I thought you were going back into
No,
it.
no. But after that, we had back to the Giants. Giants and Browns. Giants got a good win here, 21-15.
Mm-hmm.
Malik looks solid.
Yeah, this is where
Solid.
He
That boy was cooking.
Yeah, this for me is really where he solidified himself as like the top dog as the Giants. He had 2 big touchdowns, which were really exciting to see. He had some nasty catches. What do you have? Like 80 yards, bunch of targets. He's just the bright star of the Giants right now, and I'm looking forward to the future of him. Browns, on the other hand, defense looks fine. It's just they weren't given the opportunity. They're called back to the field over and over again because that offense on the Browns right now is abysmal and looks awful with Deshaun Watson. He was sacked 7 times, which is pretty awful.
Overall, the Giants' defense did solid this game. Besides
Yes.
at the beginning where they turned over the ball at like the 30-yard line and then Mark Cooper got that one catch for a touchdown.
Yeah.
They didn't let up any points until the end where they let up 8. I don't know if that was a 2-point and a...
Yeah, they got the 2-point.
So overall, Giants' defense looked all right in this game. I don't know specific stats, but
Can we just talk about Deontay Banks real quick? He's
Yeah.
just been getting cooked by everyone. Like, what happened?
He's not living up to. He is put in a big role this year of being like our lead CB and having to match up against difficult people like Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb. But like I wasn't expecting him to do great, but he's not done good really at all either. At the same time,
Yeah, it happens, you know.
but I'm not done on Deontay. I think he just needs more time.
well, moving on to the next game, we got the Packers versus Titans. Packers end up winning this game 30-14. This is starting to look bad for the Titans. You know, going 0-3. You kind of need to start doing something now. They play the Dolphins this week. We'll talk about that later. If they don't get something cooking soon, Titans are probably out of this playoff race.
Yeah.
Packers, on the other hand,
I think I don't know where I heard it, but if like starting 0-3, you have like a 14% chance to make the playoffs
That's
or something
bad.
like
Yeah.
that.
so
Packers, like you were saying, look pretty good with Malik
Yeah.
Willis, looking way better than I think anyone expected.
It just proves to me, though, because I still don't think Malik Willis is a good QB. It's just I think the Packers have a great foundation for when Jordan Love comes back. And even though they took that first loss to Philly, I think they're going to probably win their division. I think the Vikings will slow down, and the Lions look off to me a little this year. Not the same force they were last year. So Green Bay is looking phenomenal. And if they continue that, they're going to be a contender to go to the Super Bowl, I think.
yeah, obviously, good win for the Packers. I think Jordan Love might be coming back this week.
Yeah,
we'll
I
talk
heard
about
that
that more
too.
later. But Will Levis is looking kind of
Terrible. Not
Yeah.
kinda. He looks
is looking
terrible.
pretty bad. He's had the third goofy interception in
I don't
3 weeks in a
think
row.
it was a turnover. He just got like sat on pretty
Yeah.
much.
Gosh, Will Levis is a interesting fellow. But moving on, we got the Bears and Colts. this is a tough loss for the Bears. Colts ended up winning 21-16.
Yeah.
Caleb looked all right,
I
throwing
think
30.
that's all right. That's pretty good. 363, two touchdowns.
He also threw the ball like 50 times because they can't
Yeah.
run the ball.
Yeah.
So it might be a little inflated, but
It's nice seeing that production though, because he's been very low the past few weeks.
he had to throw his first. He threw two touchdowns, right? Yeah.
He threw one to Romo Dunzen. I think the other was to Cole Kmet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
you're
think
right.
so.
Romo Dunze actually looked really solid. 6 receptions for 112 yards and a touchdown. I wonder how much of that is because Keenan Allen is out, and I want to see if he can continue doing this. But it's a good that they're starting to at least build that connection early.
I think Odunze's dealing with an injury himself too.
Yeah, he might be out for a little bit. We'll see on that. I did see a clip that since it was Caleb Williams' first touchdown pass ever thrown, and it was also Romo Dunze's first catch ever caught. Romo Dunze did end up keeping the ball, so Caleb was a little upset with that. But
They got in like they're doing like a playful like trying to take it from each other, and they had to like take a timeout because they didn't get off the field to know if they were kicking a field goal or going for it. So that's kind of funny.
But Colts wasn't a great win for them. Jonathan Taylor, 23 carries for 110 yards, 2 touchdowns, kind of what you expect from him.
Just Richardson, man.
Yeah.
What is up with Richardson? He just looks very inaccurate. I just remember this one play that I saw blasted all over Twitter where like he's just throwing to the to someone on the out, like that's 5 yards out, and he just way overthrows him over his head, and it's just looked very inaccurate what I've seen, even though he hit that beautiful bomb in week 1. But
He's been super weird, and in week 1 he looked like Anthony Richardson, like, oh, yeah, this is Anthony Richardson. He's going to be fine
Well,
this season.
he only completed 9 passes.
yeah,
in week
that's
1.
also a little concerning too. So I disagree. I don't even think he looked like Anthony Richardson. He just had some bombs. Like last season, he was way more productive, and like that's why everyone was so big on him this year because of his 4 games last year. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's MVP contentions." This year, he's just done nothing.
Going forward, he really needs to start doing something because if he does not get back on track for what he did last season,
He
or
could get benched for
honestly,
like a couple
for
weeks.
Joe Flacco,
Put in Joe Flacco.
Anthony Richardson needs to get something going sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Otherwise, his spot is in jeopardy at this point in
Also,
time.
we talked about this last night. Do you think Pittman gets more involved with Joe
Definitely,
Flacco in?
100%. Because if just going off of last season, Flacco heavily relied on Amari Cooper and what's his name?
Elijah Moore.
No.
Njoku?
Njoku, yeah. Those two were their like production shot up for those last couple weeks of the season with Joe Flacco. I think Pittman and Downs would see something similar and less Jonathan Taylor usage. That's my thought.
It was a weird game between those two, but moving forward, the Minnesota Vikings beat the Texans
Not
34-7.
expecting
That was,
Not expecting that.
Yeah, I don't think many people or anyone really was expecting that. I don't think Minnesota fans are expecting that. Are Vikings the real deal at this point? I mean, we all kind of were like, well, they got 2 iffy win, or they beat the Niners, and you're like, okay, well, that's a good sign, but can they continue to do that against the Texans, who were considered Super Bowl favorites?
Yeah.
And they just destroyed them. Like, this is just a weird thing to see, and a lot of it's coming from Sam Darnold. I think.
Yeah, I think it's all. Well, the defense has looked amazing, but apart from that, it's all on Sam Darnold. He's just playing out of his mind. He's probably 1 or 2 MVP favorite right now. Just
I don't
because-
think he's that high, but he
Maybe
his odds
3 or 4.
definitely shot
Yeah.
up compared to what they were.
I just don't think I'm not sold on the Vikings yet. I think that Sam Darnold is gonna progress a little bit. I can't see him playing at this level the whole season.
How can you not be sold? They just beat what
You'll
was
see.
considered
Just
like
it.
the
I-
team behind the Chiefs up to this point.
I've seen teams like this, which they have their big starts in the middle and then they fizzle out. This is just a team I think that will fizzle out and won't really even be a big deal. Like I could see them missing the playoffs still, especially
don't-
having Green Bay and the Lions in their divisions.
I don't know with how Aaron Jones is looking solid at 19 carries,
Yeah.
102 receptions.
And Jefferson is looking
Jefferson's
great
looking
as
like
always.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be surprised. I think the Vikings are going to make the playoffs this year. You know, I think last week we did contender and pretender. I don't remember what I said exactly, but I think that Vikings at this point are contenders. There's no reason to think otherwise. Obviously, we'll go into it more later on, but
Yeah. So I want to hear your thoughts, guys. So I'm not sold. Dylan is. Sounds like he's pretty sold. What are your thoughts?
I feel like I need like one more game out of them, like an actual contender. Like they play the Jets in 2 weeks. If they can win that game, I think I'll officially be. They play Packers this week,
Oh, that's
so
a big one.
even that I think they could do that. And then they play the Lions twice again, but they got a pretty easy schedule. They have Rams, Colts, Jags, Titans, Bears all in a row.
Yeah.
They play the Cardinals too, Falcons, Bears again, Seahawks, Packers, Lions. So I feel like this is probably a playoff team, assuming that they can stay healthy.
Yeah. And then Texans on the other side of the ball. I'm not like I wouldn't be concerned if I was a Texans fan. It just seemed like it was just an off week for the team, off week for Stroud. Even though he still played fine. He had 200 yards with a touchdown, but he just threw 2 interceptions, which is not going to win you football games.
it was just a tough
Yeah.
and weird game, I think, all around. On a positive note, Stephon Diggs, 10 receptions for
Yeah.
94 yards. He
12
got a
targets,
decent amount.
which is pretty good.
Decent amount of the target share. I think Tank Dell, didn't he leave with an injury?
I'm not sure.
I swear I've seen something that he might be.
I think he's like questionable this week.
Oh, yeah. He right here looks unlikely to play Sunday.
So I don't know if that was because of this game. I just saw that this morning. I was like, oh, that's weird.
Mhm.
But yeah, pretty odd game. But moving forward, I think both teams are going to continue to produce as they did a week before, and for the Vikings this week.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got the Eagles and the Saints. Kind of had high expectations for the
Yeah.
Saints. A little disappointing overall for them, but it was a relatively close and good game throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was just kind of picturing more of like a fun shootout, but they lost Devonta Smith during the game, which sucks, and he's like the big playmaker for the Eagles team right now besides Saquon Barkley. Saints also like were scoring in every drive of the season, not punting at all for like the first 2 games, and then this game they just Derek Carr did not look too good. And then they had the chance to win, but he threw a pretty ugly desperation deep ball to Rashid and ended up getting picked off for the loss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either of these teams are really going to be top-tier contenders. I definitely could see them going to the playoffs, especially the Eagles, if they're actually healthy, because it's been a rough course for them. But Saints, I think, are kind of a pretender. And
I think
fall.
that both teams here are still going to probably, at least the Eagles will make the playoffs. Saints is more of a
iffy.
see how they do. I
Yeah.
think they play the Falcons this week. If they beat the Falcons, I think I'll lock them in as a playoff spot.
Falcons is like the other team I have winning that division.
Yeah,
Really.
but obviously this.
Oh, and Bucks. Never mind. That's a weird division.
It's even the Panthers don't look horrible now that Andy Dalton is in,
Well,
but we'll talk about that later.
We'll get to that.
Eagles overall, oh my goodness. Eagles overall looked good. Saquon Barkley, 17 carries, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously had that long touchdown that helped his production a lot. Dallas Goedert, obviously when Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown are out, he's going to be the number 1 target. Got 10 receptions, 170 yards.
That's
crazy production. Overall, even though that the Eagles lost Devonta Smith, I think that they're looking solid and going forward.
I disagree. I just think that like they got really lucky that game with that huge Saquon breakaway that basically put them in running favors to win. They didn't really play a dominant game. Jalen Hurts has looked kind of rough with his turnovers this year. Again, this game he had a fumble lost and an interception on top of an interception, fumble loss, and
They're
2
playing
fumbles.
like one of the best defenses this week, though, with the Saints.
But
I'm not
still, it's a
extremely-
continuous thing. It's not just this week. It's every week he's fumbling and
one was-
throwing interceptions.
The week 1 turf was like a big contributor to that.
Still, even in week 2, he's still throwing it. He's on 4 interceptions and 2 fumble losses. That's 6 turnovers in 3 weeks. That's not good.
It's not good. I don't think that's going to be something that's going to continue moving on. I
Oh,
think
I'm not
it's kind
saying
of
it's
just
gonna.
starting rust.
Just saying, like, keep an eye on him because he's looking a little weird.
We good to move forward?
I just want to say I watched this game like
Mhm.
simultaneously with the Giants game. It was one of the worst games I've ever watched.
Yeah,
like it was
I don't
so
think
boring.
either team looked good, and I think the Eagles are looking pretty rough
I also-
without their big targets.
I also want to point out a lot of the Eagles O-line got injured in this game, along
Oh,
with the
they
Saints
did?
too.
Oh, yeah, I saw Lane Johnson. Didn't he get messed up a little bit?
Something like that. I think he had a concussion, maybe. I think he was actually like sick too.
Oh,
Like he was
okay,
throwing
so-
up too.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what was going on with them, but something to keep an eye on for
Yeah.
the Eagles.
Moving on, we got Chargers and Steelers. Steelers, they're going to do
Sick
it
of
every year,
them.
being 500,
God.
always above 500. Obviously, Steelers won 20-10. As it is with every Steelers game, it's going to be low scoring, not going to be a lot of points on the field. And speaking of Fields, Justin Fields looked solid, 25 for 32, 245 yards passing, and a touchdown. I don't know his rushing production off the top of my head, but
Says 6 carries for 6 yards and a touchdown. So nothing crazy, but he got a rushing touchdown.
yeah, you take that. Yeah, Chargers off the big week against the Panthers aren't. And they didn't look amazing this game. Obviously, Steelers have a really tough defense. They're 3-0 for some reason somehow.
No, they're fraudulent. They're like the other ones, like, Vikings and Saints. It's a little like, it's a little hot take to say that they're little pretenders. This team is a pretender. I'll die on that hill. I just, like, their offense is lackluster. Their defense is amazing, but, like, they're just barely pulling away week to week.
They're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to lose round one. That's just kind of their formula at
Well
this point.
said. Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about for this game?
I want to touch on. I like seeing Fields succeed after what Chicago did to him and just threw him away. That's nice to see. He kind of has a home. Like, even if Wilson's healthy, are they gonna play him? Probably not, right? They're 3-0.
Well, Mike Tomlin said that they're not. Like, it's not like official that he's going to be the starter for the rest of the year.
Mhm.
Like, they're still going to take it week to week.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know
think
why.
As long as he's winning you games,
Exactly.
there's no reason to take him out.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Like, if they put Wilson in and he loses immediately, I don't know why you would even bother.
Yeah.
I think Fields has the spot for the time being until he does something to prove otherwise, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then don't really got anything to say about the Chargers. They're just gonna be kind of like they're 2-1, which is a lot better than I thought they'd be. But like, I don't know if they'll be really anything this season. I think it'll just be like a 6-7 win season without a playoff berth.
I'm pretty sure Herbert was injured going into this game and then left the game with an injury too.
Oh.
So I wonder how long he's going to be out and how that affects his team.
I don't believe he'll be back for this week, but
Yeah.
it's looking like maybe next week he could possibly return.
Yeah. All right. So
Moving on, though, we got Broncos and Buccaneers, and
I don't really have anything about this game.
the
It's
Buccaneers
like-
just got their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
That's what happened. It's like such a weird thing because like
They were looking good.
Bucs looked like the best team. Obviously, their quarterback Baker Mayfield looked amazing, and then this game they're just like, we'll score a touchdown in quarter two and just not do anything else. On the other side, the Broncos looked really good. Bo Nix looking like that QB that they really wanted. Got a rushing touchdown, I think, at one point, right?
I believe so. He still doesn't have a passing touchdown.
But overall, Broncos looked pretty good, all things considered. You know, I wouldn't be expecting much, but like this is a good win for them.
It's a nice thing to see, basically, for such a sad franchise.
Yeah. Something I do want to touch on. I've been the biggest Rashad White
Okay,
hater.
I was just gonna bring that
the
up,
entirety of the offseason, especially for fantasy. I was like, I don't think he's a good running back. He just catches passes. That's all he does. Bucky Irving
He's
carried the ball
looking
9
good.
times for 70 yards in a split carry role. I think that Bucky Irving is going to be that guy that they have for if they just need to get like 5 yards. And Rashad White's only going to come in if they need to like throw it downfield or something.
I agree. Like last game he averaged 7.78 yards per carry, which is insane. The week before 3.14, not bad. Week before that 6.89. Like he's extremely efficient, which is the complete opposite of Rashad White.
And I called this in the offseason. I
Yeah.
said that I think Bucky Irving going forward eventually will take the job from Rashad White, especially if Rashad White gets injured and is out for any amount of time.
Yeah.
Bucky Irving is going to take that like main running back role, and Rashad White's just going to be the receiving back. Because even Bucky Irving can catch like balls. He's not like a horrible pass catcher.
Yeah.
He was getting them Bo Nix checkdowns at Oregon. So
So overall, good performance from the Broncos. Buccaneers,
Just
what
like,
happened? That was a weird game, but
see how they look next week.
yeah, we'll see going forward. And as Josh from last week pointed out, Andy Dalton is undefeated against the Raiders,
God, that's
and
insane.
the Panthers beat the Raiders 36-22. What's the possibility that Bryce Young was actually the problem for this Panthers team?
I've never seen a team look so bad, like one of the worst teams of all time. Then the next week spring to life like that. can't even recall off the top of my head. Like, they looked amazing. Andy Dalton looked great. Like, Deontay Johnson looked great. Chuba Hubbard looked great. It was just that team has life again, which I was not expecting for week 3, but here we are.
Is going forward, is this going to be the new norm for the Panthers, or are we
I-
expecting them to be?
I think if they have another game like this week, there's no reason you have to put Bryce Young back in.
Yeah, 100%.
Just let him sit and develop more. Let him learn.
Maybe even ship him away.
I feel like it's way too early to ship him off.
Yeah.
Plus, what they gave up to
It
get
was
him,
crazy, yeah.
you're just giving up on him after a year and 3 games.
I'm
Like,
more
that's
looking at.
crazy.
I like
Even
Bryce
2
Young,
games.
even though I was such a hater last year, just because he was small and I didn't believe in him, and he hasn't really done anything. But I want to see him succeed. I just don't think he ever will on the Panthers.
Well, he's like 19-2 on the Panthers, I think, or it might be 20-2 at this point. Like, that is not good.
20-2. You mean 2 and 20?
Crazy then.
Oh, 2-20. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not 22. My bad.
It's like
Uh,
worse than Trevor Lawrence numbers.
Like, legitimately, this is like one of the worst performances we've seen for our first round pick. As far as I've seen from my years in football, this has been horrible. And seeing Andy Dalton come in and absolutely like light up the Raiders,
The Red Rifle.
I feel like that this is on Bryce Young at this point. You know,
100%.
especially like you said, if Andy Dalton does this again,
Yeah, I need one more game. I think for me,
It's just-
because Raiders have been a bad defense this year, even though they're supposed to be good. But I need one more.
if like in general, if the Panthers win this game, they've gotten the same amount of wins they did last year with Bryce Young.
Yeah,
There's no reason to stop if Andy Dalton's doing this good. It just looks really bad for Bryce Young going forward. You know, I mean, we should probably talk about the Raiders a little bit at least.
I don't really have anything on them. They're just kind of like there. They're not a threat. They just have some highlights. Brock Bowers is looking like he's going to be one of the best tight ends for the next coming years. But other than that, it's kind of just a lackluster team to me.
It's just so weird because they beat the Ravens in a close game last week, and then just like against the Panthers,
Yeah.
it was a trap game. And they just kind of like fell apart. You know, it's just this. Raiders are a weird team. They're always
Yeah.
going to be one of those teams that like will win games they shouldn't and then lose games that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Going forward, I think Devontae Adams looked all right in this game. Not amazing, but not horrible.
Was it this game or last week that they both went over 100?
Last week.
Okay.
Oh,
Last week.
Deontay actually had a rough side. He was 4 for 40 yards, which is like, for Deontay, that's not good.
Devontae, you mean?
Or Devontae, yeah.
Because there was a Deontay Johnson.
Yeah,
in
no,
this game.
Deontay looked great, and then Brock Bowers was at a small game for 3 for 40.
Going forward, Raiders need to not have the same record as the Panthers and start doing something.
Yeah,
And Panthers just need to continue what happened in this game, continue what they started, and moving forward, Panthers could. I don't think they're going to contend for this division, but they could play their teams and maybe win. And moving forward, we got
You
Dolphins,
got the
Seahawks.
Miami Dolphins.
but I think it's over for the Dolphins as of now, and
Over?
more than over.
Like over like their season's over? Like that over? Or
And that, because I've seen Tua might not even return this season. There's possibility that he doesn't.
I've seen
Okay, as
that
long-
he's coming back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw that he was meeting with a specialist and something like that.
Why are your chairs so squeaky
Okay,
over there?
let me refrain. It is over until Tua comes back. I don't think will win a single game unless Tua is on the field because Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle, Tyler. You love to see the GOAT Tyler Huntley. See
Pro
what he
Bowler.
does with this team, but it's just sad what happened to the Dolphins. So much talent on that team is now just going to waste. And Waddle, Tyreek Hill, what's his face, Devon
Achane.
Achane. Yeah,
So
it just sucks.
I watched this entirety of the game. I knew in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter, I was like, I feel like Skylar Thompson's going to get hit hard and just be done. And then it happened, I think, in the third quarter, and I was like, well, once you're on your third string, you kind of know it's over. Going into this game, I had the slightest bit of hope that, maybe we could do something. Maybe Skylar Thompson isn't that bad, and he looked horrible.
What about Seahawks? Seahawks, I haven't watched them play at all, but just knowing that team, I don't think they're like a big 3-0. I think they're more of like a lighter.
It's a
like-
quiet 3-0.
Yeah, quiet is a good way to explain it.
Their defense is really solid and really will help them this game.
How's
And
Witherspoon been this year? I know he was like the big talk last year.
I don't
Say,
know.
I just
I
don't
don't
know
watch the
anything
Seahawks.
about this team. Yeah.
I think he was the one who actually injured Thompson.
Oh, really?
I think I might be wrong on that, but
I mean, they got a lot of pieces on offense too. I think like that is a team I think will make the playoffs and do something more compared to like the
Steelers.
Saints and Steelers. Yeah.
DK Metcalf, I will note, got a huge reception for like
Yeah.
60 yards.
Oh,
on one, or was it like it was like close to 80 actually.
Yeah, it was like 76 or something like that. Huge bomb.
Zach Charbonnet looked good with 18 carries, 91 yards, and the 2 touchdowns on the.
Yeah.
You got something to say, Gavin?
No, I'm just excited because he's on my fantasy team. Okay,
Um,
we're stepping outside, bro.
Jackson Smith took a downturn.
I
The week
think
before he was a monster, but
I think he'll have a bounce back week this week.
he's
against
going to be
the
up and down,
Lions.
up and down. That's what I picture him doing. He's
Just
still
sad.
so young though.
Sad display for the Dolphins, especially with all these offensive pieces. You lose your quarterback though. That's kind of to be expected. We'll see if Tyler Huntley steps up this week, or if we're going to be starting
He's a Pro Bowler,
Tim
so
Boyle. I don't like my options. I will say either way, going
Oh.
with Tim Boyle or with Tyler Huntley,
why'd you guys get rid of Mike White? Mike White wasn't bad.
because we had a full healthy Tua. I mean, like,
Oh,
well, he'll probably be healthy, and then obviously not. Good win for the Seahawks though. Seahawks are looking solid this year, and if they can continue doing that into this game versus the Lions that's coming up, we'll see how that goes.
Did you guys see? I don't know which quarterback it was, but there was a picture someone took. It was a sack, and whatever quarterback it was, their pants were literally like taken down.
yeah, I
Someone's
saw that.
bare
It's funny.
ass.
I'll show it to you,
was
Dylan.
taken. It was crazy.
You don't
photo.
need to show that.
No, I will show it on. I'll just show you.
I know what it looks like. I've
Oh, you've seen it?
Show
I've
it
seen
on camera, fellas.
Yeah, we got another person here who's being a little rambunctious right now. Just ignore him. Do not show that on camera, please. But
Do you want to see it, Colin?
Yeah, I want to see it.
I'll start moving forward, I guess, to the Ravens and Cowboys. Cowboys, a pitiful display for the first 3 quarters. Almost
Hell
6
yeah.
points.
Love seeing that. Love to see it.
On the other side of the ball, Ravens looked great in the first 3 quarters.
Rushing looked amazing. Like holy crap.
I mean, this is kind of what we expected. If Derrick Henry's in positive game script,
He's just
Derrick
gonna,
Henry is going to be Derrick Henry.
Even
If he's in-
Lamar though. Lamar, we're seeing a decent bit of rushing from him.
Overall, this is a really good win for the Ravens.
Even though they almost
Obviously,
slipped up.
Cowboys scored 19
yeah.
points in the fourth quarter, granted, but they obviously got the win at the end of the day, and that's all that really matters for them.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
needed to get a win here. This was like very important for the Ravens. If they went 0-3, it's probably
Like
It's-
that, it proved to me that they're contenders still. They're not. They had a rough few weeks, but like
they need
they're
to
still
start.
top 10.
Mhm.
They're up there still.
I mean, all the games have been close. I think that
Yeah.
if the Ravens can win the next couple, I will
could say
have
they've
faith
been
in them.
like an inch away from winning.
A toe away from winning. Yes. Cowboys obviously looked better in the fourth quarter, but that's not really what
It's
that's not when-
garbage time.
You don't want your team to be
Yeah.
looking good in the fourth quarter. You want them to be looking good throughout the entire
It is
game.
garbage time. What? What are you
Garbage
looking at
time is
for?
like when you're down a lot.
Oh, I thought you were
Ignore that. Any other
Get
notes?
out!
Any other notes? Oh, I do actually have a note for this game.
Yeah.
Personal vendetta. What the hell is happening with Mark Andrews? How did he go from being one of the best tight ends last year to being like the
No
worst
idea.
tight
It's
end?
So weird.
Stinker.
It's not even like likely is a big presence. It's just like
I'm so mad, and we'll talk about this later when we get into the fantasy segment. I had Mark Andrews on my team, and I lost by 2 points.
if he caught a ball,
He was
would've got
wide
it.
open, and Lamar could throw to him, and he just threw a bad pass, and he couldn't catch it. And it makes me so mad that he's not getting used for whatever reason. I feel like he's gonna step back up, but I'm worried that he might not. This is
Yeah.
3 weeks of mediocre production that I don't know. Moving on, we got the Niners and Rams though. Rams looked solid. Obviously got that comeback win against the Niners, 27-24.
Yeah.
Jawan Jennings from the Niners.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see the stat line. 11 catches, 175, 3 touchdowns. Oh my god.
That is not normal human production. Yet it was not enough to win them the game. The Rams running game, I think, really saved them with Kyron Williams,
Kyron, oh my
24-89,
God.
2 touchdowns.
3
Um,
touchdowns. He had a reception one too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Like Kyron was the shining star of this comeback. Obviously, we were all kind of expecting the Rams to lose, especially after they lost to the Cardinals. So the comeback win is really nice to see.
1-2 San Fran, though, is not what we expected.
I mean, when you got CMC, George Kittle, and
Debo gone.
Debo gone,
And Ayuk just nowhere to be found. So
yeah, how do you feel about that, Gavin?
It's whatever.
made all that drama just to do nothing so far.
Gavin, for context, has Brandon Ayuk on his team, and he's not happy about what happened last week.
I expect him to be better as the season goes on. You know,
Yeah.
hopefully at least. Or
But like you figure with him that everyone injured, he should be getting a huge target share, but like they haven't really seen it.
Maybe it's
I
just
don't
better
know.
if the whole team's healthy.
All right, yeah.
guess so.
I don't really
Um,
have anything else on this game though. It's
Yeah,
just-
we do have to start moving forward. So we'll go into
KC.
Lions and
Lions.
Cardinals. Don't skip the Lions, man.
I'm going by
um,
sleeper order, so that's all I said.
Lions won 20-13. Cardinals looked pretty good, all things considered. Just not amazing. Obviously, we're only able to get the one touchdown to.
Pretty good.
Was it Kyler who rushed, or?
Yeah, no, Kyler
Broke
threw it
through.
to Marvin Harrison. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know. They did. I was kind of keeping track of like what was happening in this game. I wasn't watching it, but like they had an explosive kind of first drive and first half. But it looks like to me that they didn't really get anything moving for the rest of the game.
I mean,
All the Lions, they just managed the win. It seems like.
The Cardinals are kind of like they want to run after they get a lead,
Mhm.
and the Lions have have actually the best run defense right now in the league. So
Oh really?
I think so.
Dang.
Do not quote me on that. I think I heard that though. So obviously I'm not too surprised it was a little rough for Kyler Murray and James Conner. Marvin Harrison still looks solid,
Mhm.
looking like the guy he was summed up to be. A little bit less probably, but still good. The Lions overall look solid. 7 receptions, 75 yards for Amon-Ra and a
I
touchdown.
want more out of the Lions.
That's
like,
what.
they're supposed to be that like the people that go to the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs, and I just think that like they need to kick it into high gear a little bit more to be considered that. Still think they're probably top 5 NFC easily, but just think they need a little bit more.
I think they'll still take the division and go to the Super Bowl at the end of the day.
I don't. That is a crazy division too. Packers, Lions, and Vikings. It's gonna be a dog fight.
We'll see how it goes, obviously, moving forward. But good win for the Lions. Cardinals, I expected a little bit more, but not horribly disappointed. It was a close game. Moving on to the Chiefs and Falcons. Mahomes looked solid. 12 actually,
What?
did Mahomes look good this game? I know there was a lot of, like, drama.
He threw that interception, and I stopped watching because I didn't
Yeah,
care.
That
So
was
I
kind
don't
of a
really
boring
know.
Game. I was doing homework.
Um,
Rice, though, on that note, Rice is looking
Yeah.
amazing this year.
Rice for 12 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. I call this all season, as a lot of people did. I think Rice is a really good wide receiver. I think, especially with the absence of Hollywood Brown for the remainder of the season, I think it's expected that this is going to become the norm for him.
Yeah, 100%.
He is really the only guy Mahomes I think really trusts at this point to just constantly throw to, besides maybe Travis Kelce and then maybe Xavier Worthy.
Even Kelsey looks kind of washed.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't really done anything.
It
I mean, we
seems
saw
like
this
it's
last
over.
year, so I'm not too surprised that he looks kind of washed.
There's a
but-
reason he was on my do not draft list in fantasy this year.
Carson Steele as the backup to Isaiah Pacheco, obviously not looking as good as Pacheco, but looking all right. 17 carries for 72 yards. Obviously splitting with Samaje Perine for a majority of it. Yeah, besides that late game PI call, I don't think there was anything super notable from this
Yeah.
game.
Kirk is
Obviously,
just being Kirk and just playing Kirk football.
I'm a little disappointed with Bijan's performance. Not that many rushing yards. He did get a touchdown this week, which I think saved him in a lot of ways, but obviously you're going to be wanting more going forward with him, especially where he was drafted last year. Not last year, but the year before, technically now. Yeah.
Think
Yeah,
we
that
just
PI
don't-
call at the end kind of sucks, but
I don't really have anything else on this game.
not really much
The
more.
next
you can do
two, that were interesting.
Get your
Get out.
get your spontaneous ass out of here. Get to
He
get to
just-
class. I know you got to be
No,
to
actually,
class.
you get over here because this is your game now.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't
that's
just
fair
leave
enough.
now.
Get him in.
No, I don't want to talk
All
about
right,
this.
so next up we have Jaguars versus the Bills. Jaguars really needed some type of comeback or something to spawn in some life for their team. And do you think they did that, Colin? Do you think they?
No, I would say no, probably not. I would say there's a very good likelihood that we get first round pick in the draft order this year.
I agree.
I think we're the worst team in the league
Right
really,
now.
I don't think makes a whole lot of sense because we go from making it to the second round of the playoffs to not making the playoffs to being the first overall pick when really I didn't see any disprovements from our team. I saw all the stuff that we were doing as improvements, but Trevor Lawrence has just degraded over. I'm gonna crash out basically. That's about what's.
You played a tough Bills defense.
Yeah,
and a
Bills
tough offense.
looked amazing.
Obviously, this is not a good look for you. You're gonna have the same record as the Titans.
All I'm gonna
and
say,
Bengals, but
have hope because look at the past 2 years. I've seen Jaguars do the same thing, just in opposites. 2022, they were rough in the beginning, were looking good, slowly turned it up, and kind of dominated those last few weeks of the season and made the playoffs. Last year, they dominated the beginning of the season. Everyone was like, wow, the Jaguars look amazing. And then they slowly started falling off by the end of the season. They're losing every game. Trevor Lawrence still hasn't won since Thanksgiving of last year, so
yeah.
he might, I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility for them to get, just because I've watched Trevor play. I like him a lot. He's a fun QB to watch. It's just, come on, Jaguars, need to see something going.
All right, now it's
Let's
probably
go Chase
time.
heads.
Probably time for you to leave now as we talk about how good the Bills are looking. Let me fix this.
God.
Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, Bills are Super Bowl contenders right now. They are
Yeah.
looking
I think
phenomenal.
they are the best team in the
Phenomenal.
NFL right now, in my opinion. But
They're really close to it, if not the best right now.
I
Josh
think-
Allen
yeah.
for 4 passing touchdowns.
it's either Chiefs or Bills. If you don't have one of those two in your top two, then what are you doing?
Really, I think Houston Texans are like number 3, and they're close behind the Bills. But Bills blowing out the teams they've been playing, that's what you really want to see. Going forward, we'll see how Jacksonville can recover from this and how the Bills will hopefully continue their momentum. They play a really
Yeah.
tough Baltimore team this week, and if they beat that, I will list them as probably the number 1 team
Yeah.
in the AFC. But obviously, Chiefs were like the number 6 team last year for the AFC, and
I remember you two had Bills going third in the division. I was like, hell nah, that's not happening. What are you talking about?
Step
And-
aside. First, best team is probably the Bills. Second best, the Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm taking third, the Vikings.
No, fuck no.
Vikings third.
Hell no.
No, that's the.
can this guy get out already? He's not even part of the
Vikings
group.
third.
Gosh,
this
that
fuck
guy.
out of here.
But moving forward, we gotta finish this up with
So-
Commanders, Bengals.
Well, can I just add a little more of the
If you
Josh
want,
Allen?
yeah.
Just because, I just
Blaze them.
think that it's his MVP year if he's going to do it this year. No, but, hear me out. He lost all his pieces, and if he's still putting up his insane numbers and still looking great even without, it went from the Josh Allen and Diggs show to now Josh Allen throwing to his friends, basically, so it's his MVP year. That's all I got to add.
I mean, I could see it. I just think that obviously defense has looked really solid, even though they lost some of their pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I
Just the
think
whole
this
team.
Baltimore
It's-
game is going to be the real test for them. If
I
they
can't
can win
wait
this,
for it. Is this Sunday night? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I think so. If they win this game, I will list them as like a Super Bowl contender. Right
Mhm.
now, I think their competition they've played has been a little iffy.
I disagree.
We'll
I think
see,
they
though.
played some decent teams.
They played the worst team in football.
Miami were full gear when they played them.
We were looking bad in week 1. We barely won against the Jaguars.
It's still a division rival. It's not an easy
And
game.
Cardinals are
Cardinals
alright.
are a fine
They
team.
got bad defense.
Yeah.
but
Jaguars are awful, but
moving
the other
forward,
two.
we got Commanders, Bengals.
First ever game where there was no punts and no turnovers since 1938, which is kind of crazy.
And it's all because of my boy, Jaden Daniels. I love this guy. I'm so happy
Can
with
we
his production.
cut the glazing? First it was you with Josh Allen. Now it's you with Jaden Daniels.
Because I said
get
all
outta
offseason, I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to be the best quarterback. And I just heard so much, mostly from this guy over here, Michael Battisti.
Dylan, just quick. Josh says you don't know ball about the Bills.
Yeah,
that
you-
was just what he texted me. So.
You don't know, but they are the best.
I hate the Bills. But Commanders, really good win. Jaden Daniels looked amazing in the 38-33 win over the Bengals.
Yeah.
Bengals looked rusty. Looked like
The offense looked good,
They're
but
getting
the
better.
defense has not been anything.
That's true. I should say the defense is looking rusty. The offense is looking better.
Burrow's still. Just give me 1 second. I'll pull it up.
Jamar Chase had a good game, 6 receptions, 118 yards, and
Yeah.
2 touchdowns. Obviously, Not enough to win against the Commanders, but good enough to at least put up some numbers. Commanders just
Yeah.
not
It's
dark horse. Actually, you know what?
Nope, they're
Dark
not
horse.
a good team.
They're gonna
No,
make it to the
no,
playoffs this year.
no.
They were number one in the
Get
division.
the hell out of here. They are still the Commanders at the end of the day. They have
You say
the
that,
worst defense in the NFL.
Yet they
and-
won.
Yeah,
Yet
just
they're
because
winning.
it's just because Jane Daniels is not going to have a monster game like this every single week.
How do you know?
I mean, it's just I don't know, but I don't think he will.
And
Like,
Jaden Daniels we trust. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. And Jaden Daniels we trust.
Like Joe Burrow, it's sad. Like he had 324 yards, 3 touchdowns. You can't really ask him to lead his team to any more points. Like if you're not winning at 33 points, then there's more problems than the offense. But just crazy game. I was not. This was like the boring one I was picturing for Monday night, and it was quite the opposite.
God, I love the
No,
Commanders
God,
right now. I'm
ew,
becoming a Commanders
yucky,
fan slowly somehow.
disgusting.
Overall, both offenses were both clicking in this game. Obviously, no punts, no
Mhm.
turnovers. But moving forward, I think Bengals need to figure out what's going on defense and kind of just get their act together. They
Yeah.
need to win a game, and if they want to do anything, Commanders just need to keep doing what they're doing. They were number one in the division, obviously. I know that the Cowboys are probably number one now that they beat the Giants.
Yeah.
But they got an extra game, so.
So now, like, that's pretty much it for a recap of last week. I want to kind of roll this. So what are we in? Oh, wait, we're going to do receipt. Never mind.
We're talking about, so I'll segue this instead of Michael.
Okay, I was going to
Crazy
segue.
segue.
I was going to
Crazy
segue
segue.
into the Bengals versus the Panthers, and it was going to be cool, but
But
forgot
we're,
we're doing our receivers.
we're
bad.
going to be talking about
My
the rookie
bad.
receivers and how good they've been doing, which you can't be upset with that discussion.
All right.
How about we start with draft order?
Damn it.
So you can get your time in the shine or your
Bro is
time in the light.
Bro is ready for that one.
He is so ready to just glaze the hell out of league neighbors, but we'll get to that. Looking at the number 4 overall drafted, Marvin Harrison. In your guys' opinion, has he lived up to that draft pick?
Yes.
You
Like,
think
he's
he has?
doing enough to, you can't expect much more from a rookie putting up the numbers and touchdowns he's doing. I just think he's being a little bit outshined by the counterpart who went at number 6, but, like, he's doing fine. Like, Kyler Murray, even though it's not Kyler Murray's job to get him the ball, it's not his job, but he's doing it somewhat.
So obviously, Marvin Harrison has, at this point in the year, 22 targets for 10 receptions, roughly 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns at this point?
Yeah.
3 touchdowns.
yeah.
That's honestly pretty solid. For week 1, only getting 1 reception for like 4
Yeah.
yards.
That was
Getting
concerning.
those numbers in 2 games is not terrible.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cardinals have looked decent in the last 2, and honestly, this season they've looked decent. They're not a horrible
I
team.
disagree. I don't think they've looked too good. Like, they're definitely 20 low range. They still have
I think they're top 15.
no way. What about you? What do you think? Top 15? No.
Other than this, who
They have
did-
not done anything.
Other than
besides
this loss to the Lions, they looked really good.
What? Okay, their offense looks good, but
I'm not saying their defense
I can
is
name 15
extraordinary.
teams better. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But
Well, that's why we have different rankings. But
yeah,
I think Marvin Harrison has done a good job, and he's the reason that they're getting close to winning some of these games. At least week 1 was not his game, but the last
Yeah.
2 weeks he won them the game against the Rams, I would say, and he was close. And he got them that early touchdown against the Lions this week.
Yeah.
So I think he probably could have been drafted a little bit. I feel like he's more around like the 5 to 10 range if there was like a draft now. But going
No.
forward,
are you saying NFL draft?
yes.
No way. It's so early to say that. I thought you were talking fantasy. I was like, fantasy, go ahead. But, like, you cannot scale. He's supposed to be a generational talent. You cannot scale him off of 3 games.
Well,
like,
that's
come
what
on.
we're talking about, the 3 games.
Yeah, but
so we're
even
talking about
then,
their
that doesn't
performance.
affect his pick at all, those 3 games.
All right. That was a bad. Honestly, when I was saying it, it didn't really make
All right,
sense.
fair
But I was just
enough.
going with it at that point because I was committed. But Marvin Harrison has looked good. Obviously, not exactly what they were hoping for, but he's done what he's needed to do to win these games. Obviously,
Yeah.
going forward, we'll see if he can continue that production. Obviously, we don't want more 1 reception games from him, but if they keep continuing what they're doing, I think they'll be fine. Any other notes on him before we move into this other guy that got drafted at some point, probably?
Nope.
No, we can start the glazing now. Thank you.
Show
All
off the
right,
shirt.
I'll let you two handle this one.
I'll be wearing the shirt. That's all I'm saying.
You
Looking
wanna
like
start,
rookie
Gavin?
wide receiver
Yeah.
1. Should have gone number 4. Breaking records left and right.
Yep.
I don't know what else to tell you. You've been watching. You know, he's the GOAT.
He's been looking like the #1 wide receiver in the NFL right now. Like, he's beating out Tyreek Hill, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, C.D. Lamb. I know they have all had their situations, but still, he's ahead of the race, and no one really pictured that. I think the only one who has more yards than him is, like, Nico Collins. But other
No, I
than
think
that,
he's
like,
fifth in yards.
Yeah, but like even we'll have to see after week 4. But like he just added another 110 to his campaign, which is probably gonna boost him up even more. So he's just been phenomenal, and like I'm so surprised that we're able to elevate a receiver like that with Daniel Jones. But here we are.
I mean, it's kind of be expected. For the 4 games, he's gotten 52 targets and 35 receptions.
Holy God.
You get targeted 52
Yeah.
times in 4 games, you're going to get something done. 386 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's looked really good. And I knew coming into the season he was probably going to be good. My big concern was Daniel Jones. And is he able to support that? And obviously we've seen now that he is able to support it. Obviously, if he was with someone like Jordan Love, he would be literally the one like on Marvin Harrison level.
See, that's what I was thinking about. Like, I don't know if he's with a better QB that like he would be putting up the same output, because like I think he's only getting his extreme share because Daniel Jones isn't like a top QB, and he really is like relying on Malik to get things done. Look at the third downs of the Browns game. That was like a big thing. Malik is, I don't have numbers, but like you can agree that he's he's like heavily utilized on third down plays and like big transition plays, that touchdowns too. Like he's just a very important role for Daniel Jones, and like he's really all he has. So like if he was on, like, just say hypothetically he was on the Bills, I don't think he's putting up those same numbers. I think he's putting up less with Josh Allen.
Either
that current
way,
Bills.
his production in this offense is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I can't say that word. I don't know why. I feel like this is
Not
kind of
even a hard
similar
word
to
to
the
say.
Saquon
Phenomenal.
Barkley. When he first came in, he was really good, and then he kind of started to fizzle out a little bit in that offense. And
Well, I think
Did he?
that was more due to injuries than
Yeah.
production. Like,
speaking of the devil,
Yeah, it's a concussion, so we have the long break of 10 days until we play again, so he should be good by then, hopefully. But if not, it's just one game, and he'll be back in
yeah,
the mix.
concussions it's a little different. Saquon had an ACL tear
Yeah,
and
that's,
an ankle
like,
sprain. It's a
awful.
little different, but you know, one thing I want to say about Malik Neighbors is he has a very high level of breaking the first tackle when he gets
Mhm.
the ball. I feel like every time he runs like something close to the sideline, he always does the one move where he like
Yeah,
ducks
the
under the
duck head.
tackle,
Yeah.
like every time without failure, he just does it.
I think he is leading the NFL with yards after catch, I'm pretty sure. Or, like, up there top 3. I don't have the exact
I can
numbers,
look
but he's
that up.
high. Yeah, let's figure that out real quick. Because I'm pretty sure I saw something. He's, like, number 1.
so while he's looking that up, Michael, in your opinion, do you think the Cardinals?
Sorry, correction from earlier. Malik Neighbors is leading the league in yards.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Well, you did
now.
also just get an extra game, so that might be why.
But still, he is. Stats are there.
True,
He's
the
leading
stats are there, but
he's leading the NFL.
we'll see at the end of this week what happens.
So what are you saying about the Cardinals, though?
Do you think the Cardinals should have drafted Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison?
Not yet. Like, that is a question I think it takes years to answer, just because, like, it can take years for a receiver to fully break out.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, right now, no. Even, like, how they both been playing, I don't think it would really make a difference for them drafting Malik instead of Harrison. I just think they're both such good receivers and going to be, like, great over the next 10 years, hopefully, long careers. I mean, Malik's 21. Like, he's young. doing
Malik
all
is
this.
4th in yards after catch.
Okay.
Is that from also what happened last night?
I would assume so. If it was as other stats are updated, I assume it would be.
I know he was high though, which is like you
He's up
said,
there
the
either
breaking
way.
tackles. He's just
So overall,
One more
Malik
thing
Neighbors-
though, he has had my only complaint with him is he's now had 2 like game-ending pretty big drops, which it's like first time I was like okay, but he had another one last night. He has to start catching those big like important balls.
Yeah, well, when you have to catch every single ball because the QB can only throw to another guy up the middle,
Yeah.
it's hard to make every single catch. But
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, you know. Hoping the best for Malik Neighbors coming back next week. Obviously, you got the long week, so we'll see how that goes for him. But we'll be monitoring to see his health going into next week.
Yeah.
But overall, if you had to rank the 2, who would you put at 1? Who would you put at 2?
Obviously, Malik Neighbors won.
I guess I
Like
should've
it's not
asked
even
that.
in
That's
question, but
Obvious, but
like I'm not saying Marvin Harrison is far off. He's just like it's a close game. They're both great, but Malik he's not just the best rookie right now. He's like the best receiver and putting up in yards and stuff like that. So-
Moving on to someone who has not been as productive, we got Romo Dunze. So far, 20 targets, 9 reception,
I mean,
156 yards and a touchdown.
you can't really blame the first 2 games. It's just Caleb getting used to that NFL environment. Ooh, voice crack. Last game I didn't watch it, so I don't like know how he looked, but stat wise, he had like 100 plus yards and a touchdown, so that's great to see. And I don't really have anything on him.
He's also been dealing with the injury.
Oh, really?
too.
What
Yeah.
injury is he? I didn't
I
even know
think
that.
now he has a hip. I don't know if that was the same one he was dealing with a couple weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
but he's been dealing with injury too. So
Yeah.
that's something to keep an eye on. And then you also have DJ Moore, and then Keenan Allen's there when he's healthy.
Yeah.
So Cole Kmet too. So he's got guys to deal with.
Yeah.
So kind of a weird scenario for him, really.
Yeah.
So obviously not the production you were hoping, especially with Caleb. You kind of hoping they would have more of a connection. Obviously they did get that first touchdown last week, but not enough to win them that game. So moving forward, I think we kind of want to see a little bit more from Odunze, especially since Keenan Allen's been out for a little bit.
I guess.
Just kind of been a good
Yeah.
receiver, but not amazing. Only 20 targets is not the best, especially only catching less than half of those is not what you want to really see from your, 9th overall pick?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but
Um,
again, I don't think it's on him. It's Caleb. Like, the first game, Caleb threw touchdowns and had like 300 yards. He produced. So, I don't think he's at fault.
I mean, obviously, it's both sides of the coin. You know, you need your receiver to be open, but you also need your quarterback to be able to throw. So,
Yeah.
going forward, I think that we'll see more production from Romo Dunze, but I'm not too surprised given the fact that he has DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, even
Yeah.
though Keenan Allen's been out for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Moving on, there's 2 other receivers I want to talk
A little
about.
quicker.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs, 11 targets for 6 receptions, 81 yards, and a touchdown. A lot of that came from week 1. Rushing-wise, he's gotten 5 attempts for 39 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think he looked really good in week 1. We were all expecting big things going forward, and he's kind
Slowed
of
it down.
fizzled out the last 2 weeks.
He's, I think, just gonna be a big role player for that team. Like, he's not gonna be like they have Rasheed Rice. He's their guy basically right now, and he's just Xavier Worthy's gonna be used for those like quick plays. He's extremely fast. He's just more of like a wild card. That's how I picture him.
I wonder if he'll do like what Rasheed Rice did last year, because Rasheed Rice was pretty quiet through majority of the season, and then towards the end he kind of picked up his production a lot.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Worthy will do something similar to that.
We could see that. Yeah.
Obviously, there's not as much of a need for Patrick Mahomes to have that one guy, now that Rice is still there.
but still having
I agree
2
with
guys,
you because it
yeah.
takes a while for people to learn the Chiefs' offense. It's a very dynamic offense. So going forward, I think later on, like you said, we will see him get an increase in production, but I wonder how much Rice will still take that target share from him. And the last receiver, unless you have any other notes with him,
No, not really.
no.
other receiver I want to talk about, he's on the worst team right now, is Brian Thomas.
I
17
forgot
targets,
that.
11 receptions.
I thought you were talking about Ken Coleman, and you're like, oh, the worst team in the bill. All right, yeah.
We
but-
could also talk about Keon Coleman.
No, I skipped Brian Thomas. Or yeah, we gotta talk about Thomas.
189 yards and a touchdown. Obviously not amazing production, but on the worst team so far, no offense.
Not awful.
Not
Like,
awful as a
yeah.
rookie. Same age as Malik Neighbors, actually,
Very
21.
young too.
Just looking solid. Overall looking like I think
He's
he'll be
definitely
a
the
good Kirk
one.
replacement. He'll be a
Yeah.
good Kirk replacement, I think. Any other notes, either of you, from him, what he's done so far?
Again, like Romeo. I always call him Romeo. Like Romo Dunze, it's just QB. Like Trevor Lawrence has not been playing to his standard, and it's like there's nothing Brian Thomas can do about it. He's getting open. He's getting some catches. Just like if the team's not working, he's not gonna really do much.
Gavin, anything or?
No, nothing.
All right, then we'll just go into Michael's suggestion. I was just gonna do the 5, but I forgot about Kean Coleman.
He's there.
Well, we did all the first rounders.
Yeah, so we
Keon
got.
Coleman really hasn't done much either.
It's
so-
just that like it's similar to the examples of Brian Thomas and Odunze. Like the offense is bad, they're not going to use. This is where the offense is oversaturated, and there's so many people getting the ball. It's just like his share is so
I
small.
mean, he's only gotten 7 targets for 5 receptions, but that being said, 75 yards total. So that's what.
Like I said earlier, it's the Josh Allen and Friends game, so it's like it's random who's going to have the game of the night, whether it's Cook, Shakir, or Keon Coleman had the one touchdown the one game.
He did get a touchdown last week. Obviously, that was a blowout game, so it
Yeah.
wasn't too unpredicted. But an average yards per catch of 15 is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
So,
expecting more from him. He's probably like my biggest breakout for like the rest of the season for wide receivers.
I think if the rest of the receivers on the Bills were worse, we'd be seeing a lot more from him. But
Yeah.
because they're all kind of equal, we do need to start moving forward. We
To
are going to have to kind of
picks.
go kind of quick through these picks.
I mean, that's what we're planning to do anyway.
But we'll start out with Saints and Falcons. Obviously, Saints coming off a loss, Falcons coming off a loss. I think this will kind of determine who. I think the winner of this will kind of be the leader of the division for a while. I'm going to honestly go with the Saints to win this one. I think their defense is going to be able to take out Kirk Cousins and take out Drake London. That's been very common throughout the last couple games. I think we're in tune for a big Bijan game and a big Kamara game, but other than that, it's kind of all I got for these two. I think that Saints win this.
I agree. I think I let me check my pick'ems, but I'm pretty sure I
Yeah,
have
let me see
Saints.
who I put too, because I think
Yeah,
I
I
know.
put Saints. Should be a interesting game. I want to say high scoring, but it's also a divisional game, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
So what do you
I
think?
got Falcons personally. I'll never be like on the side of a team that is using Derek Carr. I just think he's a little washed, and like he did look good. I'm not doubting him, but like last week he didn't do anything, and I think it's gonna be another like Derek Carr dip game, and Kirk Cousins should be able to win this.
All right, so moving on. Bears at home playing the LA Rams. This is a big game for both of them. I think both of these teams need to get a win to get on track. Bears obviously won week 1, have not won since. They need to get a win here in order to have Caleb have more confidence, I feel like. And the Rams got a very good win last week. They need to continue that momentum if they want to do something this year, because the starting off 0-2 is not a good start.
Yeah. I think I got Rams. I don't know who I picked for. I'd go in Rams just because, like, I think I like Matt Stafford commanding an offense with some no names and Kyron more than I like in Caleb Williams being able to pull together a win. But I don't. That's just gut feeling. I'm going Rams.
I'm taking the Bears just because the Rams are so injured.
Yeah, they are bad.
If Caleb's can even do like a fraction of what he did last week, I think they can win. I think the Bears were favored by like 2.5 points, so it's gonna be a close one. But I'm gonna take the Bears just slightly.
Yeah.
I'm also going to take the Bears on this one. I think they need this one. I think Caleb's going to get a good win here, so he can kind of cement himself as, okay, he's not a bust yet, but we
Well,
still need to see a little
He
bit
can't even
more.
be a bust first year.
You know
in
what
my
I'm saying,
opinion,
though.
but, yeah.
Going throughout the first 3 weeks, he's been a bust. Moving on, we got the Vikings and Packers. Very big game for both of these teams.
Ooh. At
Um,
Lambeau too. Okay.
I think a lot of it will come down if Jordan Love does end up playing. I think that the Packers will win this, but at the current moment, with Malik Willis as starting QB, even though he hasn't been bad, I think Sam Darnold is going to lead this team again. Justin Jefferson's going to lead this team again, and I have Vikings going 4-0 to start the season.
I also have Vikings 4-0.
Again, I think I guess I'm just the devil's advocate today. I got Green Bay either way. With of course, if Love plays, it's a boost of odds. But even Malik Willis, I think this is where Vikings take their first loss in kind of like a little trap game to Malik Willis at Lambeau Field. I don't know if Green Bay is going to let Minnesota come on their turf and beat them up, so I'm going Green Bay.
Well, moving on, we got the Steelers and Colts. Yeah, Steelers are going to go 4-0 to start the season.
Yeah, this will be a lame game unless we can finally see Matthew Richardson, but I don't think this is the week against a good defense. So who do you got, Dylan?
I got Steelers winning this, going 4-0, sadly. I shouldn't say sadly. I don't hate the Steelers. It's just they're boring.
Yeah.
I want Anthony Richardson to do good, but with how bad he's been,
You expect, yeah.
5 interception
this
game.
is not
I'm
the
calling
game.
It. 5 interceptions in this game. It's
What
going to
about,
happen.
what about you, Gavin?
I'm gonna take Steelers. Josh even gave me his prediction for this one. Wait.
Did
He
he?
said Cowboys versus Steelers, so I think he means
That's
Colts.
next week.
Oh, by the way.
No, Cowboys play Steelers next week.
Bro's just giving me the wrong thing. He's not even getting a prediction this week.
By the way, shout out to Joshua Conroe. Happy birthday.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, happy
happy
birthday.
Yeah, big birthday
Yeah.
boy. Couldn't be here today, sadly, since Michael finally decided to
The
show
big
up.
19 years old, officially hitting unk status.
So going forward, big win for the Cowboys yesterday. That was a good birthday present. But
No. Sorry.
yeah, I just want to shout him out. Thank you for being here the last 2 weeks. Moving forward, we got
I didn't say my pick, Buster.
Don't care.
I have Pittsburgh.
Moving on.
Moving on. Broncos and Jets. This was a game that happened last year. It was a very boring
Jets.
game. Yes, Michael. I think
Jump the gun, buddy.
I think the Jets are going to win. I think they're going to get this win and go 3-1 and contend with the Bills to take the division. Broncos looked good last week, but I just wonder how they can do against a really good defense of the Jets. So
Yes.
obviously Jets did lose a couple pieces last week, I think, but
Broncos are going to get killed this game. That's what I'm calling.
I think Brees will run through them.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope he does for my fantasy team.
I need Garrett Wilson to do something. Where has he been?
Pastor Tan's going to be on him. That's going to be a tough matchup. Yeah. You're just going to nod your head when they can't. All right. Whatever. Moving on. We got Eagles and Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I think this is a playoff rematch from last year. I think Eagles are losing a lot of their key pieces right now. I think Buccaneers are going to get back on track, but I will say A.J. Brown's iffy to play. If A.J. Brown does play, I do have Eagles winning, but right now I'm going to take Buccaneers.
And Devonta's. I got Buccaneers because I don't think it looks like Devonta and A.J. Brown are going to play. And I think without them, Saquon Barkley and Dallas Goedert are great weapons, but not enough to, compete with how this Tampa Bay is high scoring usually besides last week. So I think I got Tampa Bay.
I'm taking the Eagles. I
Gotcha.
think Saquon Barkley is too good.
Yeah, he has been amazing.
And this Eagles defense did shut down that high-powered Saints
Yeah,
offense.
fair enough.
And then the Bucks did just lose to the Broncos. I feel like I'm not in favor of the Bucks really.
Yeah.
Plus, they can't really run the ball either.
I think there'll be a lot of passing in this game, even if A.J. Brown and Devonta are gone.
Mm-hmm.
High expectations for not Jake Elliott.
Yep, high expectations for the kicker.
Dallas Goedert, I think, will be good this week, and Saquon should catch a decent amount of those balls. Moving forward, we got Bengals Panthers. Surprisingly, I thought that
Andy Dalton revenge
Oh
game.
my God, yeah. I'm so big on the Panthers this game. I just I don't understand. Oh, it's just funny year after year we see Joe Burrow just be shit for the first 4 games. I got Andy Dalton with the Panthers here.
Well, I do agree with you that the Panthers are going to win this. I'm just going to say how sad it is that the Bengals are going to go 0-4 against
It will kill their season.
some of the worst teams in the league.
It will kill their season
And
if the Panthers
Panthers,
win.
if they win this, are going to have the same record as last year, and I think Andy Dalton is just going to have to stay, and they're going to have to keep benching Bryce Young.
That game, I'm not gonna watch it because I probably won't get it anyway. But that is one I'm very excited to see the outcome of.
I got Panthers winning this. Obviously, it could be a toss-up.
Yeah, what about you, Gavin?
I also have Panthers too.
All right, is that our first one we agreed on?
I think so.
Oh no, we all agreed Steelers.
Did we? Oh,
Yeah.
Moving on to the Texans versus the Stink Jaguars.
I think this might be another sweep here.
I think Stroud's are going to win this.
Okay, Tom Grassi.
I do that sometimes. I'm bad.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I just feel like there's no way Houston should lose this game. It'd be such
really
a funny
funny.
trap if they did.
It'd be really funny if
But,
they did, though.
yeah, I
It'd
got
be
Houston.
Really funny.
They should not lose this.
Yeah, Houston. You.
Yeah, I'm also taking Houston.
Moving on, Commanders and Cardinals, another
Ooh.
shit bowl that could be a good game. You know, I think you guys know at this point. I'm a Commanders fan. I think the Commanders are
Oh my
going to sweep the
God.
Cardinals
Oh.
here.
I easily have the Cardinals taking this game. I hate the Commanders. They will not win.
They will win, but
What about you, Gavin?
I'm taking Cardinals too.
There we go.
you
All
guys
right.
will see when Jane Daniels throws for 300 yards, gets 2 rushing and 2 passing. this
Yeah,
week.
you're coping.
300 yards and 4 touchdowns. There's no way he's
it's
doing
gonna
that.
happen. It's gonna happen this week. You gotta believe me,
I don't believe you.
I've never even seen Lamar come close to that.
because he's not as good as Jane Daniels. Moving on, we got the Patriots
Hang
playing the
on.
Niners.
So Lamar's not as good as Jane Daniels.
2-time MVP, not as
Yeah.
good as a rookie who's played 3 games.
yeah,
And
I'll stick
has
by
played
that.
one good game. He's played one singular good
I would
game.
argue 2 good games.
No.
But I'll stick by that.
What
I'll
was
stick
the
by
other
it.
good game? Not the
Week
Giants
1,
game.
Week 1,
Week 1, I didn't. What did he do week 1?
you got 2 rushing touchdowns.
Oh no, that was he just ran. He didn't even throw the ball.
Doesn't
no,
matter.
one good game. All right, next.
Moving
matchup.
on, we got 1 and 2 teams. One that I fully predicted to be 1 and 2, and one that I'm very shocked is 1 and 2. We got the Patriots playing the Niners. Niners have to win this game. right?
Trap game.
Yeah. Well, okay. I thought the Patriots were gonna catch the Jets in a trap game last week, but I was wrong.
Niners have to win
I'm
this game.
I'm
if
going
they don't.
Niners. Yeah, I think it's a must win.
I feel like you have to be Patriots fan to consider taking the Patriots in this game.
Yeah.
Like, even if Debo and Kittle and all them still don't play, like, the 49ers are just a better football team.
Yeah, like and Brock Purdy looked good even without all those weapons.
Obviously,
So-
Jawan Jennings contributed to that, but
But still, it's Juwan Jennings. Like that's part of it's on Purdy's part. He's delivering to him.
yeah, I think we all have Niners winning this one. Going
Yeah.
forward, we got Browns and Raiders.
Ugh,
Shit bowl.
visible disgust.
This is do we all agree this is the worst
This
matchup
is
of the
the
week?
worst matchup of the week. It's just
Yeah, probably.
I'll be honest, I have no fucking clue who's gonna win this game.
probably Cleveland, just because it's a bad two. Oh, okay, it's like it's a good defense versus an okay offense, and then a bad defense versus a horrid offense.
Raiders got a decent defense.
No, they don't.
They're like
No,
one of the
they
worst in the
don't.
league.
What are you talking? They
They
just
were able to win against the Ravens. They, were
They
able
still gave
Th-
up like
yeah.
20 plus points.
and they just
They
lo-
got, how are they
they're
bad with
not.
Christian
They are
Wilkins and Max
bottom
Crosby?
5.
I haven't actually looked. but I
That's 2
swear.
players though. A defense is like 20 players plus.
I'm gonna take Raiders just to be different.
say a
but-
defense was 20 players.
like plus.
20 plus
It's 11 players.
Well, yeah, on the field, but like you got backups and.
Also, we're
On the
counting
field?
backups now.
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to make a point. Like he's naming 2 players out of a whole ass team.
I'm gonna take Raiders just to be different.
Get the hell.
I'm also taking Raiders.
No.
Oh,
so.
apparently I'm not different. You're
I'm
the
going
different one.
Raiders.
What?
You can't change it.
I didn't change. I didn't say the Browns.
You said the
You
Browns.
definitely
I
said
did
you were
not
taking
say
the,
the
Browns.
Browns.
You said I'm probably gonna go with
Play
the
back
Browns.
the clip. Play back the clip.
Chat,
always
clip that.
I've always been a Raiders fan, so I'm going Raiders.
Die hard since I was birthed.
Yep.
I think this is an easy one. Chiefs, Chargers. Chiefs. win
Chiefs.
this.
I don't think
Yeah.
Herbie's playing, so Chiefs.
Yeah, go Chiefs. Yeah,
Let's keep it
I love
going.
the Chiefs 3-peat.
Bills. Baltimore game of the week easily.
They're gonna score like 5 points in total.
Yeah, that's. I feel like every game of the week is just. I say it's just like boring and doesn't live up to it.
So
I'm predicting tie.
Ew. Oh god.
I'm gonna get the Ravens to win this game. I don't think Baltimore
Yeah.
is as good as they're predicted.
Yeah, okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Obviously, Baltimore's at home. I think that's what's going to contribute to this. I think
Weren't they
Baltimore.
at home when the Raiders beat them?
No,
Okay.
I think were they?
Let's see. Let's
That was their home opener. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
I thought they went to.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Ravens' home opener.
Well, either way, I got Ravens.
yes,
to
it
win
was
this.
at his home opener.
I think Ravens are going to win this game against the Bills. I don't think Bills are actually as good as they're shown to be.
Josh Allen is gonna go crazy. 4 touchdowns. He's gonna have 500 yards. We're gonna go with Dylan Ford, Jaden Dan. Okay.
So he's gonna take your Jaden Daniels stat line, then multiply it by 2, and that's just Josh Allen's stat line.
Okay, but no. Jokes aside, I just think the Bills are the better team this year, and we'll beat the Ravens.
Highly
Simple as
disagree,
that.
but whatever, buddy.
Oh, yeah, but you're wrong. You're wrong. That's just the stats say that you're wrong. Mr. Stat is wrong.
Gavin.
I'm gonna take the Bills,
Hell
and
yeah.
especially if the Ravens have a 10-point lead at halftime, then I'm doubling down on the Bills.
Moving on to Monday night games, we got Titans and Dolphins.
We have
Ugh.
another double. Oh,
We got
okay.
double. Do not remind me of last year's Titans and
Ew,
Dolphins.
God, that is a horrible matchup. I got Tennessee getting their first win of the season, personally.
Yeah. If whoever the hell they roll at quarterback plays like they did last week, you're not winning any games.
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley, MVP season. He's going to throw for 500 yards,
Yep.
4 touchdowns.
I
rush
think
for
in
a
his Pro Bowl
touchdown.
season, he had like 200 yards.
Yeah, it was like 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
Trust it's going to be a really good game. I think Dolphins are going to lose this, but
Yeah, Tennessee.
Josh-
If
Josh
Tennessee
predicts-
loses this, I swear to God,
it'd be really funny.
Josh predicts Tennessee win 28-10.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well said.
Moving on, we got Seattle and Lions. This will be a good game. Seattle's undefeated so far in this team or in this league.
Sorry, I was just preparing for my boom. I got here playing the game. I got the Seahawks winning this. I don't know why. I just feel like the Seahawks are winning. There you go.
I don't hate that. I like the Seahawks, but I think Lions are going to get back on. They got back on track last game. I think they're going to continue what they've been doing. Obviously, this is a tough Seattle defense. We'll see how they do against it, but I got Lions win this game.
I think this will be the toughest matchup the Seahawks have had all season.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to struggle a bit, so I'm going to take the Lions.
Okay.
But that's our week
Recap.
4 picks. Obviously, we got some stinky opinions about like Josh Allen and stuff in this, but overall, pretty
All right
solid. Do we want to get into our fantasy to end this off?
What exactly and are we going over? Because I can pull up the scores from
Just
last
kind of
week.
what happened in our league. We can start.
Do you
So-
want to go matchup by matchup?
we can go
Yeah,
matchup by
sure.
Matchup.
Dylan Ford stinks. He lost
No,
by
we'll
a
start
point.
with him. He's the 1 point up.
Me? Well, I don't even want to really talk about this. So I got blown out anyway because Ayuk and Hunter Henry didn't really do much. Even Jordan Mason didn't really do much. But I, for some reason, right before game time, decided that Tony Pollard would be a better start than Aaron Jones and David Montgomery for whatever reason. So either way, even if I start Aaron Jones, I still lose. So, like, it's tough when you get put 197 points on your head.
Yeah.
You know, Michael, you're making fun of me, but you also lost.
I mean, I don't know how I lost last week. I had my neighbors go for 30, Diggs go for 20, Jefferson go for 20, Farmers go for 10, Wilson for 15. Like, everyone did okay. It's just Josh's defense got 22 points. Brandon Aubrey
kicker.
had 11 points. It's just like, that's one. I don't know how I lost this week. It's just, I
well,
swear, if I lose to Aiden Kavanaugh this week, you will not see me again on this podcast.
Josh says, hold on. He says, tell Mike his ass sucks and that I own him when you talk about us.
No, I own him. I'm
It
pretty
doesn't
sure
look
of the
like it.
record. No, I'm pretty sure I own him.
I'll do the privilege of talking about Colin's team and
Team Diddy Party.
Aiden. Colin beat Aiden. Colin was the best team in the league. Aiden was the
Aiden-
worst team in the league, and that just kind of continued. Colin
Yeah.
Parks had a really bad performance, actually. I think if he played literally anyone else, Colin Parks would have lost, but
Yep.
he just happened to play the right guy at the right time.
Yep.
Obviously, same thing.
I get to play this bum this week. I'm getting a
You're
free
going to lose.
win.
It's going to be really
I'm
funny.
getting a free win.
And for me, we're continuing the streak of me losing by a couple points. I lost 145 to 147, which sucks. Just like two receptions is all it took for me to beat this guy, and I lost. My kicker missed a 5-point field goal, which sucks. That would have won it for me.
yeah.
You hate to see it. It just happens sometimes. You lose close matchups. That's
I'll-
just how fantasy football
I
is.
also like to add, I'm just the king of like losing to people when I score more points than like half their league, and I just play the highest, like second highest scoring team, and still lose, which sucks. But
Either way, rankings have drastically changed.
Malik is the number one.
I'm talking about our league.
It's
Oh.
standing. We should say that.
Standing.
Rankings is
Colin Parks still at number 1, 3-0. At number 2, we got Colin Atkinson, the
Yeah.
guy you saw earlier, the Jaguars fan, who was 2-1 at this point. Right behind him is I'm on Drugs, which is Josh. You
Yeah.
remember Josh, obviously. And right behind him is DeMar Hamlin Legacy Year, which is Devin, who we are all very shocked is at 2-1.
us three like? What the hell are we doing?
I've
if
lost by
we're-
like combined 5 points the last 2 weeks.
Like the 4 ball knowers is us
I
three and
was-
Josh.
I
and-
was one Saquon Barkley drop away from beating you in
yeah,
two.
that's fair.
I was one catch from like half the people on my team away from winning the last 2 weeks. So I'm not super disappointed with my team. Hence, I'm at 5. I got a decent amount of points. That's why I'm at the top of the 1 and 2 club. Joining me right below me at the 1 and 2 club is Gavin. Doing pretty solid right now. And right under Gavin is Michael, who is.
I have the most points against. Jesus Christ, I gotta play some defense. What the hell?
I'm at 449.
Stay with me.
against.
I'm at 509. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't have as many points scored against, but I'm still losing by a little bit.
Yeah.
And obviously Michael is at 7th right now. Yeah, you hate to see that.
I
don't
mean,
you?
like, I'm going to be top 4 this week, so it's going to be okay.
He's gonna lose to any
Dude,
guy.
when you
I'm not
lose,
losing to Aiden.
We gotta
I'm not
strictly
losing.
open with that
I'm
next
not
week.
losing to Aiden. You will.
That will be the cold open.
You'll
next
never
week.
see me again if I lose to Aiden.
And right behind him is Aiden, who is 0-3. I don't know if we talked about this last week. He has CMC, Puka Nakua, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, all on injury reserve right now. Well, not on injury reserve, but injured, so he's struggling. And word of advice, do not tell Aiden Kavanaugh that you have players that he would start and that he has players that you would bench. Because he will not be happy about that. He is not happy about his status.
Aiden, if you are listening, which I know you're not, because you don't watch, start making moves, man. You got to do something.
Yeah.
You're 0-3.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
Clearly, it's not working out for you. You
Like,
can't just hold on.
Look at us. We're all pros here. We know what we're talking about. We're all
1 and 2.
but you got to do something, man.
Overall, fantasy has been pretty fun, you know.
Excuse if you can hear my stomach.
Then no one could hear it, bro.
On that note, I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover.
Yep.
Any
Oh,
other-
Micah Parsons high ankle sprain. Just got a notification. Throw that.
Alright, well, Micah Parsons high ankle sprain. Who knows how long that'll be until he comes back. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Anyone in particular want to end it? Michael, you've never ended it off. End off the
All right.
podcast.
So, like I said, if I don't win in fantasy, you won't see me next week. I hate the Giants. Go Bills. And good night, America.
Okay, I'll actually.
Nope.
Thank
Do
you all for watching.
no. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Also subscribe. And good night, America.
You didn't plug any of the...
Oh, and go to TikTok. Go to Twitter. Go to. Do we have a Reddit? Do we have a?
Gavin, why don't you tell them where they can
And
find us?
good night, America.
Go to the TikTok that you don't upload to.
It won't work. Just do it. I'll show you what happens. I upload it and it just doesn't appear.
You can find us at Gridiron Banter BOB on Twitter and Gridiron Banter on TikTok.
Yep.
So
And do we
thank
have
you.
Reddit?
no, we don't have Reddit.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, America.
Good night, America.